This is Christine DeCamp, and I am here talking to Jon Langdon about his paintings and his upcoming show at Art by the Bay Weekend Gallery, which the show is entitled Beyond Geometry, and the opening reception is February 2nd at 3 p.m. So, Jon, you have done, and you folks will be able to see this in the video, that some of his work in the background. He started painting in 2006, is that correct?
The 6th of June,
okay.
2006.
And you've done a lot of different kinds of work.
I have.
And what inspired you to start painting?
Well, I was recently divorced, and I had retired, and I thought, I got to do something to keep myself out of the bars. And I had done a little bit of art, throughout my life. My dad was an artist, so I feel like I have sort of a genetic background. So it all just fell together. I inherited a nice big piece of plywood and some house paints and did my first painting, and I thought, well, this was fun. So that's how I started.
Great. And you're also a writer.
Mostly poetry, although I'm trying to work on a prose piece. It's very hard. My first piece published was a haiku. I like haikus. I like the refining everything down to a minimum, saying what you can say with as few words as possible, because I can get really blabby and sappy if I go on too long. So it's good for me to... 17 syllables is great.
And that's hard. It's hard to cut things down to that.
But I've always liked proverbs and adages and things like that, pithy sayings. So, and I feel like my art right now is going in sort of what I would call a minimalist direction. So it's all part and parcel,
Nice.
It's kind of who I am.
Yeah. And when you, in your writing, is it related to your art?
The first painting that I did, I wrote a poem about it, and that's the only time my poetry has anything to do with my art.
Okay.
I've written poems about my cat, several poems about my cat Jenny, who died a couple of years ago. I have 2 new cats, boys, brothers. They haven't inspired me to write one thing. So I don't push it.
Yeah. So the show is called Beyond Geometry, and everything is going to be sort of on a geometric theme then.
Yeah, I've done triangles and circles and cubes. One painting is just a dark background with a thin red line running across it. Mm-hmm. I can't get any more minimal than that. But I'm obviously doing sort of geometric figures, hoping to evoke or convey something deeper than just the figure on the painting, which art's supposed to do, I think. Mm-hmm. Get people to see things in a new way.
How have your images changed since you began painting?
Well, I think as you indicated, I've been all over the place. I've done, Pollock drip kind of things. Did a lot of abstract things using spray paints through mesh and stuff to get different textures. Will try anything, and I've never really had any kind of a plan. I've done a lot. I started with house paints. I took some classes at College of Marin with Chester Arnold, who was very helpful and encouraging, and was mostly oils with him. Now I've gotten back to acrylics. I've done lots of things with flowers. That seems to be a reoccurring, but I've also done really eclectic things like the Civil War piece back there, and the El Radio Fantastique, maybe get a shot of that.
Yeah.
But I finally realized that if I wanted to sell or get a gallery to be interested, I would have to do a body of work that was of a similar theme. Because galleries like that, they're interested in selling.
Yeah.
And so when I had my show with my old friend Philip Fratkin last year at Toby's Feed Barn in Point Reyes, I produced 16 4-foot square paintings that were basically concentric squares of color. I was using Morandi as an example, who spent 25 years painting the same thing over and over again. And I said, well, I'm going to try do that. Basically the same painting, but vary the width of the stripes, vary the color, try different things. And so that was the first sort of series that I did with the idea that maybe there would be some commercial value. Because I think you always struggle, and I've talked to other artists about doing what you want to do, but then if you have to make a living, you also have to paint to the market somewhat. And I've been lucky that I made money as a contractor, that I don't really have to paint to the market, but I would like to have some recognition, and I realize the only way to do that is to do a body of work that people would recognize. And so anyway, that's sort of where I'm at now.
So how many pieces do you think are you going to have in this show, this upcoming show?
Well, it's a small gallery, and I think all the pieces are 4 feet wide. Some are 4 feet square. Others are 4 wide and 2 tall. I think we've decided that I can probably, with adequate spacing between the paintings, which I think is awfully important, that I can have probably 9 paintings in that gallery.
Okay.
Because of the width. So I will go up with 10 or 11 so that Lorraine can choose what she wants to do.
Yeah. Well, the show it opens February 1st. The reception is on Sunday, February 2nd. Begins at 3 p.m. And then the show will run through March 30th. So get up there to Marshall,
yes.
Art by the Bay Weekend Gallery in Marshall, California, across the road from Tony's Seafood, and come and see Jon's show.
Yeah, and it's a destination, and you can have either lunch or dinner at Tony's after the show. So
there you go.
Make a day of it, and it's a beautiful drive.
All right. Thanks, Jon.
You're welcome.